Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a week 2 check-in for my August budget, and my budget always starts on the 16th. My last video was from the 15th, I meant to say the 15th through the 21st, and today's video is going to be from the 22nd of August until today, the 30th. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with my sinking funds, and we're going to see what I spent from there. And I actually had quite a bit of transactions just because I consider my classroom supplies as part of my sinking funds. So since it's the start of a school year and the students come back next month, I spent quite a bit of money in the classroom area, and I had to go to a couple of different stores this week. So first I'm gonna start off by logging $35 that I added to my classroom sinking fund. So first I had 52. At the beginning of the month I added 20, and then my boyfriend was kind enough to gift me $35 to add to that fund. So I'm gonna go ahead and write the category over here. I just label it as classroom. And I do get a majority of my classroom supplies from donors, such as like Donors Choose and Amazon Wishlist, but there are some things that I like to personally buy myself, and that would be things like paint. I bought paint this week, a broom, air freshener, just things that I really don't think of until I'm actually at the store, and I don't have time to put those on my wish list, and that was $35. And then the next 3 transactions will be deductions from my classroom sinking fund. And I'm actually gonna write a plus sign because usually I just log the money that I take out, but since this is money going in, I definitely have to put a plus sign just to remind myself. So the first transaction that I made was at Dollar Tree. And then at Dollar Tree, I remember I bought a lot of, whoa, I totally spelled that wrong. I put Dollar Trees. Dollar Trees. I bought a lot of cleaning supplies there, and it was great because I feel like I got a lot of stuff and not for a lot of money, and that was on the 26th. And that came out to $20.56. And I'm actually gonna close this up because it's hard to reach in this little corner. And that was, like I said, $20.57. And then my next transaction was at Walmart. And I ended up getting a lot of storage containers this day. And a couple of lights. And that is $56.20. And even though we are going back virtually, at least for the first month, my school is making it mandatory to have our classroom set up for whenever the students do go back. It's a bit tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just gonna follow whatever they tell me to do, right? The next purchase was at Lowe's, and at Lowe's I actually bought paint to paint one of my 4 walls, and it's a nice purple color. Maybe one day I can show you guys. And this is the first year that I painted the classroom, but a lot of my coworkers were doing it, and I thought it was a great idea. After I saw somebody's, I was like, I have to do that. So I went ahead and split the cost of the paint with a friend who is painting her classroom the same color. So I thought that was a good deal. And we also, you know, split the costs of like the rollers, the paintbrushes, the edger, things like that. And I actually want to see how much I have left just because the students do go back next week. And I don't think I have anything super urgent that I need to have in my classroom, but just next time I go to the store I want to see how much I have left in this category. And also I don't mind dipping into other categories just because I know that next paycheck I'll be having kind of like a bonus for classroom supplies, so I can always just put money back into my fund. So I started off with 52, added 20 at the beginning of the month, and then I'm going to go ahead and add 35. And now I'm going to subtract all of the costs. So that'd be minus 2057 minus 5620 minus 1478. So I have 1545 left. So I'll just keep this in mind whenever I go to the store next. So if I need to pick up just a couple of things, then I should be fine. But if it's anything big, then I might have to dip into my other funds and then pay myself back essentially during my next paycheck. And then the only other thing that I took out of my sinking funds this week was for tuition. So tuition was due last Friday on the 28th. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that. And tuition, like I said, was due on the 28th. And this wasn't my entire tuition, obviously, because you're gonna see that it was only $850, but it's just what I needed to start off. To pay for this month, and then the next time I owe tuition will be in January. So $850, that 8 looks so ugly. Should I fix it? Shouldn't I fix it? I'll fix it. And then I'll go ahead and close out that sinking fund just because I definitely won't be paying for tuition again this month. So I'm gonna go ahead and, whoa, there's my curly hair. I'm gonna go ahead and look at what I began with, which is 1,050. I added 150 at the start of this paycheck. So I had 1,200, and then I took out 850. So I should have 350 left. So again, I took out 850 and I should have 350 left. And the next time, I'll keep on adding monthly to the sinking fund, and then I should have enough for my January tuition for the spring semester. And that will be it for my sinking fund. So now we're gonna go into like everyday expenses, and I went ahead and put stickers or bill trackers every day that I spent money. That's really just to keep me on track and to not forget that that day I spent some money. And I'm not really using my key anymore, so just don't look in that direction. So on Saturday, the first thing that I bought was groceries, and that was $22.86. And then last Sunday I went out for food, dining out, and I actually went to Cinnaholic, and Cinnaholic is so delicious. I've gone like twice in the past 2 months, and I really usually don't go out for sweets like that. So I would recommend Cinnaholic if it's in your area. It's 100% vegan, cinnamon buns, and honestly, when you taste it, oof, it is the best cinnamon bun you've ever had. So I would recommend. And then I also went to an Indian takeout food that was close by. So I just went and added those up together. And then the next purchase was on the 25th, and I actually made an online purchase at Target. And I bought a lot of hair products. Oh, well, this is actually beauty. I'm just gonna write a B because it wouldn't be coming from my allowance fund. It would be coming from my beauty fund. Oh, actually, that's not right. Yeah, so this would be coming from my allowance fund, sorry. Even though it was like hair care products, and I have really thick curly hair, so I'm trying to kind of like splurge on hair care products and figure out what works with my hair, because typically I just put it up in a bun, and even though it would be so gorgeous if I could put it down, it's just really unruly and like not manageable, and also I get hot. So there are just a lot of reasons, but I'm going to start you know, trying out different products and seeing what works for me. And then on the 26th, and I think I had work, I want to say I had work Tuesday through Friday last week, and a lot of these days I will go to campus, and then we usually like to eat out as coworkers, and it's just because we don't have students, it's like professional development. Usually we have like an hour lunch, so you'll see that I ate out quite a lot this week. And we had Panda, and that was $9.20. Usually I just get like a Panda bowl. And then on the 28th, I had my tuition due. I'm gonna go ahead and put a check mark. And if you guys are interested in any of these stickers, these are all available on my Etsy shop. So like this bill due sticker and these bill expenses. The ones that I have, they might be a little big or a little short because these were like what I tested, but I definitely didn't want to throw away all of these stickers. So don't worry, yours will fit perfectly in this 7x9 Erin Condren monthly planner. So on the 28th, I also went to Walmart and I actually did buy school things. I think, what did I buy? I bought a, it's kind of like a piece of chalkboard, but it looks like fabric. I don't know. My plan is to hang it up because it is like malleable, and to have the students kind of like make it like their graffiti wall. So, you know, if they do something super awesome, they can go to the back of the room and add their name to it. So I'd also have like chalk ready for them to paint on that. And it was actually $7.11, and I thought I was already over budget for my classroom because I forgot about the $35. So I went ahead and took this out of my allowance, but that's fine. I don't mind too much. And then we also went to Chipotle for lunch, and that was $7.50. I think I just got like a salad bowl of sofritas. And then yesterday, I went to Walmart again and I got groceries. And I also got laundry detergent, and that's gonna be considered household. And I definitely didn't, you know, do 2 transactions, but usually I see how much the other category is. So in this case, I think the laundry detergent was like 4 something. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull $4 out of household and then subtract that from my grand total. So that leaves out to $22.95 for groceries. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my no spend stickers. And again, these are available on my Etsy shop. So I'm gonna go ahead and find what days I didn't spend, and that would be the 24th. And I did not take into consideration that this box would be a lot smaller. And then the 27th. And then today, which is the 30th. Awesome, cool. So now I'm going to go to my, where is it? My weekly check-in sheet, and then here I mark the total spent for the week and then how much I have remaining in that category. So I keep track of my groceries, my allowance, my dining, my household, and my beauty. And if you want to see how I break down my budget expenses, then you can go ahead and check out, I think it's my second video on this channel, and you can see how I split up my salary. And since then, I've decided to not do 5 weeks of tracking, but instead to do 4 weeks of tracking. That way, once I reach, you know, the end of the first week, the end of the second week, I know that I have to be a quarter of the way through my budget or halfway through my budget. So I think that's just a way in my head where I can keep better track as opposed to 5 weeks. So I did, you know, change the dates on these if you remember from my last video. And then right now, I'm just going to write down my different categories. So the first one being groceries, allowance, and that's really just money for myself, dining out, household, and last one is beauty. And I don't think I specifically took out of beauty because I did decide to purchase my Target haul with my allowance. So first thing I'm gonna do is check my groceries, and since there were 2 Saturdays and I always go with groceries on Saturdays, I'll just add these 2 up. So that'd be $22.86 from last week and $22.95. That's crazy, 22 each week, and that will come out to $45.81. And as of last week, yeah, that is correct. I had to think to make sure that was right. So yeah, originally I had $120. Last week I spent $43.20. Ooh, that is not right. Okay, so I started off with $120. Last week I spent $43.22. And then this week combined, I spent $45.81. So that leaves me with $30.97. And I do have 2 more Saturdays left, and I don't think that I'll only spend $25 each time. So what I think I'll do, I have quite a bit of variable income just coming in from this week. I think it's about $100. So I am anticipating to go over a couple of these, especially like allowance, because typically I wouldn't buy such a huge amount from Target like at one time. But I was kind of already anticipating that I will have $100 in variable income coming in just from this month. So I anticipate that next week I'll probably add to some of these just when that money becomes available. But right now, all that money just gets spent to my PayPal. So probably next week I'll be adding to these categories as well as taking away. Another thing I like to do is just take out my variable income in cash and spend that cash. And then that way I don't even have to really budget it. It's just physical money that I have. And the next category is allowance. And I think, well, actually I'm just gonna mark off my groceries. So I marked these 2. And then the next thing, I think the only thing for allowance would be Target. And I also actually made like a Depop purchase, but I feel like I paid the wrong amount. So I'm just like waiting on the person to let me know like, hey, you are gonna be paying a different amount. I'm really like anticipating her to message me. So I started off with $120. Last week I spent $20 and then $100. And then this week I spent $36.56 at Target. How much was it? $36.56. So I might have to calculate like that Depop purchase next week, or maybe I'll just wait until it arrives, and then that way I know that I paid the correct amount. But I think it came out to exactly $20. So that's just something to consider. And then dining out, I did go out quite a bit this week, definitely more than I usually would. And I'm gonna go ahead and mark my Target purchase. And then the first one was at the Cinnaholic, and the it was like a vegetarian Indian place. So that was $18.88. Panda Express, $9.20, and then the last one, Chipotle, $7.50. I was gonna say $5.70. So this whole week that was $35.58. And this is another category that I'm anticipating that I will go over just because I usually bring my own lunch. But I feel like at the beginning of the school year, yeah, it's important to build relationships and, you know, take advantage of 1 hour lunch breaks, essentially. So at the end of last week, I had 47.14 minus 35.38. And another reason I might go over budget for things like groceries is that this week has this month, like from August 15th until September 15th, has 5 weekends in it. And I feel like definitely on the weekends, I do tend to spend more money. So I feel like that's also something that I can take into account when I'm doing my budget. And the next category is household. And I think the only thing for household was my $4 for laundry detergent. And I actually just bought like a pretty small size bottle because I do have some left. But I just thought that I would pick it up since I was at Walmart. So that was $4. 10 minus 4, $6 left. And then beauty, I don't think I spent anything from beauty. I'm seeing all these check marks. Oh yeah, Chipotle. Okay, so beauty stays the same. That'd be $13.10. Oh, well, this would be $0. And then the remaining would be the same from last week, $13.10. And another thing that I like to do is mark how much I was spending in total. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And then I just mark it on this side of my budget. So that'd be $45.81 plus $36.56 plus $35.58, and lastly $4. So that was $121.95, and that's definitely more than usual. But since it is the first week back to work, I can see where a lot of these expenses came in, mainly in like eating out. Okay, so $121.95, and I'm actually gonna add that to what I spent last week, which is $92.98. So that's $214.93, and I'm gonna divide that by the total that I had budgeted for this month. And that comes out to 63% of my total budget. So ideally, I would want to be around 50% of my budget, just because I do have 2 weeks left until my next paycheck. So I already know that I am going over budget. So some things that I'm counting on is, one, the $100 extra for variable income that should get into my bank account next week. And I'm also considering just being more frugal for next week. So I'll definitely be bringing my own food to work, even if we're still doing professional development and a lot of us still like to go out to eat. So, you know, maybe every other day I can bring food or just go home to eat, since we do have about an hour lunch. So these are just things to consider for my next week. So hopefully by next week, I'll be at around 75%, and we'll have to wait and see then. So thank you guys for joining in and watching my week 2 check-in. If there's any other type of video that you guys would like to see, please let me know. And thank you to those who have recently subscribed. My name is Sam, not even sure if I mentioned that, but check out my Etsy shop if you want to see any of these stickers or my September stickers. Thank you guys.